Alright, I've been a JavaScript developer for the last few years and I finally decided to take a plunge into Rust. You must be thinking, why move away from a developer-friendly language like JavaScript to a low-level and intense language as Rust? Well, in this video, I'm going to break it down. I'm going to keep it short, honest, and straight to the point. Let's get started. The first reason is type safety. I know what you're thinking. If type safety is one of the reasons, why not just use TypeScript, right? Well, TypeScript is just a superset of JavaScript. So all the code that you write in TypeScript is still transpiled into JavaScript. So all the issues that are present in JavaScript, I feel like, are still not addressed. Apart from that, you don't get any additional benefit apart from type safety if I make a switch to TypeScript. So why invest so much time into learning a new language when all you're getting is type safety? That's one of the reasons I ditched TypeScript and decided to go straight to Rust. The second reason is performance. Now, I want to talk about performance, but it's not exactly black and white. I want to break things down in detail as to why I feel Rust is superior to Node.js when it comes to performance. Now, Node.js works reasonably well for IO-bound tasks because Node.js is asynchronous. But once you step into CPU-intensive workloads or processing large datasets in real time, that's where it falls apart. I'm sure you have worker threads and cluster mode squeeze the most out of your system resources, but still it feels like a patch job rather than a native feature. Now, we cannot ignore concurrency when we talk about performance. And Node.js is asynchronous, but asynchronous does not mean true concurrency. You're still running your code on a single thread. Rust, on the other hand, it provides all the tools to achieve truly concurrent programming. Not just that, the compiler is smart enough to detect race conditions and will alert you at compile time so that you don't run into race conditions. The other thing is the performance you get per system resource, as in the performance you get per memory used or the performance you get per the CPU or GPU used. Now, the V8 engine that powers Node.js has become very efficient, but it's also extremely resource hungry. Rust, on the other hand, runs quite lean. You could see up to 10x drop in system resources easily, as in something that takes 1 GB memory in the Node.js world can run with just 100 megabytes or even a smaller footprint if you implement the same functionality in Rust. The other thing is garbage collector. Now, Node.js is a language that comes with garbage collector, and there are some issues with the languages that come with a garbage collector. So the thing is, in languages where you don't manage memory, the garbage collector is what it does is it manages the memory on your behalf. So you will see spikes in memory and CPU that you have no control of if you work with Node.js. Rust, on the other hand, it doesn't come with a garbage collector, so you won't have those abnormal spikes in memory or CPU, and the behavior is more predictable. You see linear curve in CPU or memory usage, and you don't usually get sudden spikes. The next reason is dependency hell. Now, all the Node.js developers know this, right? You start a project and 6 months later, a few dependencies get deprecated, and when you try to update them, you run into security alerts and you update one thing that breaks everything. Rust, on the other hand, provides a more mature and stable approach. Rust Package Manager, Cargo, is a breath of fresh air. The other good thing about Cargo is that it forces the authors to upgrade to a major version whenever there are breaking changes. So there is a higher degree of discipline and scrutiny on crates as opposed to NPM packages. The next reason is framework fatigue. If you are coming from the JavaScript world, I'm sure you understand what framework fatigue is. You cannot just limit yourself to learning JavaScript, right? Once you achieve reasonable proficiency in JavaScript, you have to pick a framework like React or Angular or Vue.js if you want to do front-end programming. And then even after picking the framework, you have to learn tools like Redux Thunk, Redux Toolkit, React Query, and whatnot to properly manage state in those frameworks. So there is always this endless learning cycle associated with JavaScript that I find it tiring sometimes. I'd rather spend extra time learning one language than learn framework after framework for every new edge case. Now let's see why I did not pick Go, right? Go is great, it's fast, it's simple, and it's relatively much easier to learn compared to Rust. But the thing is, Go cannot do it all. Let me break it down. The beauty of Rust is that can be the last language that you learn. Rust can be used to build front-end applications, back-end applications. It can also do blockchain, it can do game development, it can do desktop apps. Even on the front-end side, your Rust code can even compile to WebAssembly, which makes it much faster than traditional JavaScript frameworks. So Rust can be the last language that you learn. And I don't want to be in a position where I have to learn a new language after a few years. The other thing is, Go also comes with a garbage collector. So the issues that inherently come with having a garbage collector, like abnormal memory and CPU spikes, are still present in Go, which I want to avoid by choosing Rust. Here is how I see it. The performance jump from Node.js to Rust is massive. The control, the memory safety, and the concurrency, it's all next level. Compared to Go, Rust gives me more in the long run, even if it takes a little longer to get up to speed. And I'm okay with that. Rust might not be the easiest language to learn, but it might be the last language I need to learn. And for me, that's a trade-off worth having. The biggest difficulty I feel in learning Rust is to unlearn JavaScript. All the bad coding practices that I inherited in JavaScript, I'd have to unlearn and develop a mentality to think in Rust, which is what I find to be the most difficult thing, at least in the initial few days of my Rust journey. Am I still going to code in JavaScript? Absolutely. For quick prototyping or quick proof of concepts or lightweight projects, I think JavaScript is still a much better choice than Rust. So I will continue to use it while I transition to Rust. So yeah, that's why I'm learning Rust, and I'm just getting started, but everything I've seen so far makes me think it's worth the effort. It's fast, it's powerful, incredibly safe, and it lets me focus on writing solid code instead of putting out runtime fires. And I will keep you updated on my journey. I'll let you know how it goes. I have a few big projects in mind that I want to build in Rust, and I'm really looking forward to see how this journey unfolds. That's about it in this video. If you are a JavaScript programmer, I'd like to hear your thoughts. Has anyone transitioned to Rust? Or do you think Go is a better choice coming from JavaScript world instead of Rust? Anything, just leave your opinions in the comment section. I'd like to hear your thoughts. That's it for this video, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.